doors on it either. Left side with the doors on it.
My name was Herb Reichel. I was with the K Company 75th Rangers from June through the deactivation of the company. Then I went to G Company Rangers. There's a few things there of ours that are original. This here is my original hat. It's an Australian bush hat. Everybody in K Company and the 1st, 2nd, 3rd Brigades wore these. We were the only authorized units to wear these. These are a set of paratrooper jump boots. Here's our scroll. This here was a Highland Rangers. We had the operational distance of 122,000 square miles. This is original piastres right here. Before K Company was started, most of it were Division LRPs, and this was their patch here. This here is taken the 75th Ranger Association, and part of this is taken off of the original Darby's Rangers and Merrill's Marauders. This is a combat infantry badge. Here's a set of novice jump wings. Here's our original maps.
In what language are they printed in?
These are United States maps, but they're printed for Vietnam. Before we were the only group to wear the black berets, the Rangers, and then they changed it for everybody. The Rangers now wear tan berets. We've got 2 original knives, and this here was our food right over here. These here, they dropped out of the planes, or out of the helicopters, to get the North Vietnamese to surrender. Or kind of give up free passes is what that was. This here is basically how we went in, how we came out. Every guy there that was a Ranger LRP knows this right here. Very lifelike. You know, there was 5, 6 of us, maybe 4 of us that did that.
And the significance of the candles?
And the candles, when we do this evening, we just remember the ones that we've lost. We have a list of those, and we're going to read those this evening. And we light a candle, and every time we have a memorial, this is our memorial service. Every time we have a service, we try and remember the ones there. We don't need any really reminders of things there, because this lives in our minds quite a bit. Some things there you'll never forget. The stories may get a little exaggerated sometimes, but it's the real life here. I carved this about 10 years ago in the POW and MIA program in our local VFW. And the significance of the inside of this here is the Vietnamese campaign medal. And it took me about 3.5 months to do that. I did that about 10 years ago.
Most of you know me. I'm Roger Crunk, the unit director for the 4th Division LRPs and Rangers. I want to welcome everybody here. I'm so glad to see such a big group, and I'm going to ask Top Keller if he'll come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody please stand up and face in the direction over there to the American flag. If you in the group this morning, if you're a veteran, the new law is that you can salute with your hand. If you're a non-veteran, lady, whatever, you put your hand over your heart. That's the law now, just in case, okay? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Play ball.
If everybody would remain standing for the invocation.
Would you join me in thanks? Lord, we are so thankful, so grateful tonight. What a beautiful day you've given us. What a fantastic reunion you've given us. God, you've brought us together for a purpose. And we ask that we would meet that purpose in your will. We thank you for all the willing hands, the willing hearts, those that have sacrificed so much. We just ask tonight that you would keep our conversations light and our focus on you and your goodness to us. And we thank you for these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
You can be seated now, please. Okay, Herb Reichel is going to come up. Please, your attention, please. Herb Reichel is going to come up and start our missing hat ceremony for our fallen comrades. So I ask that everybody please remain quiet for this ceremony.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending our service and our banquet. On behalf of the 4th Division, started out with our lineage in E58, the 1st Brigade, the 2nd Brigade, the 3rd Brigade, and the formation of K Company 75th Rangers. We welcome you here. We welcome you with open arms, and it's good to see so many people. We ask that the people that don't know what we know and where we've been and what we've done, respect for what we have. We have things that stick in our minds that will never go away. Sometimes when we reminisce about this, some of this we forget. But I ask there that you remember these fallen comrades, these LRPs, these Rangers, are brothers for where they are in the silent land. We would like there, as we read some names, to have some remembrance for these individuals.
Daniel Lee Harmon, killed in action, 6/2/1967. Ronald Joseph Bonnert, killed in action, 6/14/1967. Joseph John Steinbach, killed in action, 4/12/1968. William Arthur Thompson, killed in action, 7/12/1968. Dennis Lynn Aronson, killed in action, 9/6/1968. Dickie Wayne Finley, killed in action, 10/21/1968.
Luther Anderson Gahati, killed in action, 10/21/1968. Michael Eugene Lawton, killed in action,
12/1/1968. Kenneth Charles Hess, killed in action 2/8/1969. Nathaniel Irving, killed in action 2/8/1969. Armand Joaquin Blake, killed in action 3/22/1969.
Dennis Michael Belonger, killed in action 7/19/1969. Wallace Fred Thibodeau, killed in action 7/19/1969. Frank William Humes, killed in action 7/8/1969. Lonnie Gibson, killed in action 9/23/1969. Eddie Dean Carpenter, killed in action 11/13/1969. Luis A.N. Geraldo Padilla, killed in action 11/13/1969.
Robert John Silva, killed in action 11/27/1969. Kenneth James Smolaric, killed in action 11/27/1969. Leroy Frederick Roth, killed in action 1/7/1970. Charles R. Willard Jr., killed in action 1/7/1970. Michael William Lynn, killed in action 1/7/1970.
Dean Allen Borneman, killed in action 1/23/1970. Luis James Doss Jr., killed in action 4/30/1970. Frank Edward McClellan, killed in action 6/4/1970. Earl David Broach, killed in action 8/3/1970. Ivelno Alfred Gomez, killed in action 8/19/1970. Antonio Ambrosio Gao, killed in action 8/30/1970.
William Eugene Roller, killed in action 9/7/1970. Frank Harold Miller Jr., killed in action 9/19/1970. Roy Christopher Oljoy, killed in action 9/19/1970. Robert Wilbur Toller Jr., killed in action 12/5/1970. Charles Jackson Britt, killed in action 3/30/1972.
Gerald Hancock, killed in action 2/16/1969. Hugh Rufus McKinney, killed in action 2/16/1969. Ralph Gerald Dunn, killed in action 2/16/1969. Jack Lee Reitmeyer, killed in action 2/16/1969. Barry D. Murphy, killed in action 1969. Raymond Johnson, killed in action 8/1969.
William H. Bartholomew Jr., killed in action 1/23/1970. Steve Hathaway, killed in action 6/23/1969.
Fellow Lerps, fellow Rangers, turn over there to our mission hat. We did this when we were young. I'd like you to join me. And salute. Comrade Rangers, Comrade Lerps, our brothers, we miss you. You're in our prayers. In the serenity of the silent land, death as in life, we salute you. 2, you may be seated.
Okay, that concludes our service. The gentleman playing the dulcimer in the background, playing Amazing Grace, Roy Ford. Thank you very much. I want to introduce a couple of guests. Terry Beckett, where are you at? Terry, would you stand, please? I don't mean to embarrass you, Terry, but Terry's husband, John Beckett, one of our 2nd Brigade Lerps, passed away this past February. Terry called me and asked if it was okay if she went ahead and joined us at this reunion. And of course, she's very much welcome. Thank you, Terry, for gracing us with your presence and helping us to remember John Beckett. One other guest that I would like to introduce, Donnie Lale, would you stand up, please? Donnie is crew chief for 4th Aviation. Donnie and I have a history. When my team, Romeo 7, was ambushed on when my team, Romeo 7, was ambushed on our LZ in August of 1970, the slicks were already on their way out to insert another team and then come around and pick me up. And that ship landed. This man right here.
It was. It just was to be.
Yes. This man right here, the crew chief of that slick, and a very good friend of mine, Brad Stutz, who is not here today, who was a former K Company Ranger, was the door gunner on that ship. They both got off of that ship and came in and joined us in that hell. And they carried my team back out to that ship. And I just wanted you to know who Donnie Lale is. course, all you LERPs and all you Rangers know how much we depended on 4th Aviation. And he's just one of them.
I'm just one of them, and that's what you need to know. There's many, many other guys who are out there. I just happened to be there that day, and that day, it's right here. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, one other comment about the coffee. Apparently, we didn't end up for enough of these packets of coffee for every place setting. So I would ask if just each couple would take one, and so that we can be sure everybody gets some. And if you're not a coffee drinker and don't want any, that would work too. Now I'm going to introduce Reuben Seiberling, the man who has put in untold hours since our time in San Antonio to put this together. I don't think we can thank him enough for what he's done for us. Reuben.
Thank you, thank you. There have been commanders throughout the ages, but none prouder than this one standing in front of you tonight. You guys were a mess then, you're a mess now. Was supposed to be the way, but a bunch of lunatics. Super. Good evening, folks. It is, oh, what a thrill to see you tonight. What a thrill. Thank you. I've got some folks to introduce to. You wonder if you came here for food? No. The $40 was, the $40 was to hear me speak. And if you, The man asked me for 9 more minutes before he started the food, and we can flat take care of that, and we're going to take care of it in a great way. We'll do some other things in just a little bit. We have been welcomed here by the entire state. We've been welcomed by the county. We've been welcomed by the city. What an absolute thrill. This looks more like a 75th Ranger Regiment reunion. No one would believe this is just one wonderful unit. Thank you for being here. I know so many of you made so many sacrifices to get you. Yeah, give yourself a hand. You deserve it. Never in the history of our company we had to haul in 36 more chairs after we had 150 of them set up. You done good. Okay. We have some special guests that I promised I'd get them in and out in a hurry, so I've already been remiss on that. You wondered why I didn't go take a shower. I went back to my play coup days.
We wouldn't have known.
Yeah, I know it. But standing under that old Air Force tank and pulling out that matchstick and getting the few drops of water, that was good enough then. It's good enough tonight. Yeah. We have greetings tonight from our U.S. Representative in Washington, D.C., Mr. Sam Searcy, Mr. Sam Graves, I'm sorry, and Shauna Searcy is here someplace. I think she is. I hope she is. There she is. Come on up here. All the way from Washington, D.C. to say hi to these guys and ladies. We appreciate that so much, and I promised her I'd get her down the road. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reuben. Thank you so much, Reuben, and everyone else for letting me be here. I'm sorry Sam himself isn't the one here. luckily for me, every man in my family has served in the military. I know what you guys do. We can't thank you enough. So from the congressman, since he couldn't be here, he sent a congressional resolution with me to read to you, and then I will present it to Ruben when I'm done reading. Madam Speaker, it is with great pride and pleasure that I welcome the courageous and honorable men of the United States Army 4th Infantry Division, Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol, Company E, 58th Infantry Long Range Patrol, and Company K, 75th Infantry to their 40th anniversary reunion in Kansas City, Missouri. These brave men and their families will finally receive the honor they have deserved for so long. This exceptional group began in Vietnam with the 4th Infantry Division LRPS, formed within the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Brigades in 1966 and 1967. On July 5th, 1968, these LRPS were then placed under the control of Captain Ruben H. Seiverling, commander of E Company 58th Infantry. Captain Seiverling described the greatness of these brave men perfectly by stating, "I have been recognized and honored for several various degrees of accomplishment in my journey throughout life. None are more satisfying or humbling than to have served under extreme combat as the last commander of E-58th and the first commander of Company K, 75th Rangers." Madam Speaker, I ask my colleagues to join me in honoring a very elite unit of United States Army Vietnam veterans and to welcome them to their 40th anniversary reunion. These men, like so many others, have sacrificed so much to protect our nation's freedom. I congratulate them on their dedicated service, and I humbly welcome these men and their families to Kansas City. Signed, Sam Graves, Member of Congress. Wow. Thank you so much, everybody, for letting me come.
She had to read it. I hadn't seen it. Thank you so much, Sam. And the state has recognized us. What a thrill to look up just now and see my dear, dear friend, Senator Luann Ridgway from the state of Missouri. Luann, please come and join us. What a thrill to see you walk in here. Wow.
Wonderful.
Your proclamation's in the book, so any other readings you want to do is fine.
Well, I'll tell you what, I never let a person in elective office stand between a whole bunch of Army folks and their food. So I'm going to be very brief, but I do want to be here personally to thank you for your service. The state of Missouri is proud of you, as our nation is proud of you. You know, we can't do what we do as a free people in elective office without the sacrifice that you all have made and continue to make. So we appreciate what you do beyond belief. And I have a resolution that we in the state can sometimes even be more long-winded than the folks in Washington, D.C., so I will not read it. But it's, I know it's here. Actually, Ruben's going to dig it out. Here it is. People say sometimes that Republicans and Democrats can't get along together, but we all unanimously agreed to this. And I'm not just saying that lightly. This is something that we all very much agree to honor you with your service, your sacrifice, and what you continue to do for us. One of our senator's sons, Senator Carl Vogel, his son is currently serving in Afghanistan and Iraq. We have our Senate administrator, his daughter and son-in-law are serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. We also know a little bit about the sacrifices that you all have made. We thank you. We can't begin to thank you enough. This resolution that we have hardly seems adequate to thank you for what you have done. But Ruben, I do, on behalf of the entire Missouri Senate, want to present you formally with this resolution and thank you again for your tremendous service, for your tremendous sacrifice, and thank you for the contribution that you make. I want to personally thank you for the contribution that you make to our community and the services that you have organized for tomorrow. I really appreciate that, and I thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. That's what it means. Thank you. We had the beautiful privilege yesterday. We skipped out on you for a little while. My goodness, it wasn't even yesterday. Yes, I guess it was yesterday. It's been quite a week. And Mayor Mark Funkhauser of the city of Kansas City, Missouri, welcomed us in a big way. And that all came by the introduction that my good friend, Mayor Pro Tem Bill Skaggs, several months ago when he found out that was happening, he says, "Reuben, I've got to greet your men." Mayor Pro Tem Bill Skaggs, Kansas City, Missouri, would you please come up?
Reuben, thank you. And we did, well, first of all, I want to say to you, welcome home. And welcome to Kansas City, Missouri. We're glad to have you with us here. I understand you folks come from over 40 different states. But I think my first trip into Vietnam was in 1966. I was in Air Force Reserves out here at Richards Gebaur in South Kansas City. We had a plane, at least one, sometimes two a week, that was supporting your efforts, and I was an aircrew member between 65 and 69. But so I was there, but never very long on the ground. But I don't know what the only thing I remember about it was hot, and you guys know more about hot than I do because you were there longer than I was. But Reuben, thank you for hosting this reunion here in Kansas City. You're always welcome here, and we did do a resolution for you. I'm not going to read this. I hope that this is on display so that these gentlemen have an opportunity to take a look at it. But thank you again and for your longtime friendship, Reuben.
Thank you.
I'm supposed to hug you. Oh, yeah. That's what Pete told me to do.
You'll never be a lerp. Is there a chiropractor in the house? 40 years ago, that'd have felt good. I promise you, First Sergeant is here, and I know what his command is. His command is always feed the troops, take care of the troops. I'll just do one or 25 other more introductions, and we'll get out of here. I've had the opportunity to, within just a few days of coming back from Vietnam, and I told this nasty story, so I won't tell the nasty story tonight, but I'll just say within 14 days of coming back from Vietnam, had the honor, privilege, absolutely life-changing experience of marrying my beautiful wife at McConnell Air Force Base. I got home on the 5th of July, 1969, and we got married on the 19th of July. And what came along with that was good mother-in-law. My mother-in-law has come the whole way here from Wichita, Kansas. Where are you, Mother? I can tell you to the whole public, I love you dearly. Come on, you got to stand up. Oh, yeah, yeah. And brother-in-law and sister-in-law. My children, I've got some of my many daughters here. Pamela from Flower Mound, Texas, you're here. Pam and Kimberly and Sheila and their husband, Mike, Sheila's husband, Mike. I've got family here. Bill Parson and Sherry Parson, thank you for being here. It's going around, it's going around, and it's going around. It's time for you to invite these folks to eat.
What am I supposed to say besides, let's eat? Yeah, let's have our guests go up first, please. If our guest would get up and go to the head of the line, please.
This just doesn't seem right. You guys.
Folks, would you please, may I have your attention, please? Where's Luann? Oh, is she still here? Okay. No, she's right here. Don't leave us yet. Okay. Yeah, Bill had to go. Please continue eating and relax with it. Darling, would you please come up here beside me, please? I know, I'll get in trouble for that later. What will happen the rest of the night and the rest of the week is thank you, thank you, thank you, and there'll be very, very sincere thanks. And I can't thank my own wife enough for the support that she's put behind this thing. She loves you guys, and I'm very, very comfortable with that. This is my wife, Benita. And she said, you Lerps, you Rangers, you don't know everything. She says, I used to command a drill team. I said, you what? And she said, yep. She said, I command a drill team. And I said, where? She said, well, I won't even tell you where. She said, I'll just show you. She says, I have something for you old men. Richard, show her what Benita brought us.
Company, halt. Present, chair. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right shoulder, chair. 1, 2, 3, 4. Prepare, chair. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand on it, hand on it. A 10. Hut. 1, 2, 3, 4. Column of 1. Hup. All I want to say we are lazy. All I want to say we are lazy. All laying around just drives them crazy. All laying around just drives them crazy. But what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Can't look this good and work hard too. Can't look this good and work hard too. Company, halt. Company, right face. Zipper quicker. Zipper quicker. Ha. Hey, 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 hey. Come on out there, down the line, dress it up. Straighten it up. I hike 'em up. Hike 'em up. Flip, chair, up. Drop, chair, up. Sit down.
All right.
A 10. Hut. Column of 2. Hot. Hup. 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 Company. Hup.
Thank you, Benita. I thought I was a drill sergeant after many, many years, but nothing like that. There are so many thank yous that, are we there? Lots and lots of thank yous, and I say that there won't be enough. There was, there's some kind of saying out there that says that you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, we've got one that you can judge by its cover because it's professional. Several months ago, when we started this project of taking your notes together and the pictures and say we're going to put together a little scrapbook for the reunion, it turned into something more than a scrapbook. And I said, oh, Lord, I need help with this one. And need a reunion take-home piece. And we had some very, very professional and very dedicated people that fell in love with you fellows and your families and says, we want to help with that. And I think probably just within the last 30 days, got the inspiration for the name for that little scrapbook, and it's called Reflections. I took that Reflections down to good friends of mine down at Unchained Creative and sat down with their artist, Mr. Jason Roberts. And Jason Roberts is the quietest man in this room, I can assure you. You want him on your LERP team, you really do, okay? He's not going to blink an eye, he's not going to do anything. So I was very proud to get my first proof of the cover of that Reflections. It never means anything unless it really going to cost you something. Jason Roberts, would you please come up here? I want you to have that first cover of Reflections. That's yours, my friend. Thank you for that. Stand right there, would you please? Then we had to have somebody to help put it together. And I said, well, I know a good friend of mine named Sean Galloway. He has a printing company. I went down to his printing company and talked to his production man. I said, can we do this? Can we put a book together? He said, oh, yeah, we can get this done. As long as it's 1/8 of an inch thick. Well, I think we got that whooped. I said, but I type 14 words a minute. I have double vision, and they're coming in June. He said, well, it's only January. Go to work. And I says, I need some help. He says, I'll get you some help. The help they got was Sean and Brenda Galloway. Brenda as the editor, Sean as the printer, husband and wife team. Please come up here, would you please? These three folks have put up with me since January. I write letters to my wife, and I talk to Brenda every night. So it doesn't hardly seem right, but we made it work somehow or other. In our years in Vietnam together, I don't think that the practice had started, but in later years we found out that if there's very, very special work being done somewhere within the company, the commander awards his one coin to that very special person. I am, whether you want to know it or not, the commander. And my wife and I wanted to take it clear away from being commander and everything else. My wife and I wanted to have very, very special tokens for you as the commander. Jason, we want you to have the commander's coin. It is the Ranger coin, minted with your name on it. Sean and Brenda, carry it with pride. We thank you for your work. Pure silver for pure gold. Get one that's spelled, if the name's spelled wrong, blame it on somebody else. Thank you. Then some more folks got involved. The more I talked, the more more people got involved. I think that you've seen from what you've seen here since you arrived here Thursday, this has been a community effort, community-wide. I know that you feel welcome here in Kansas City. When you saw your program and see that list of people, if you would, when you get back home, send thank you notes, send them to me. I will get them to them. There's a list of about 15 or 20 contributors there. And it was going pretty good. I'm going to have to ask Pastor Harrop to plug his ears on this one, because about a week ago, I said, well, we got our Rangers coming in, and we've got their spouses. He said, did you get all 24 of them? I said, yep. And then Wayne Mitch sent me 24 more, and then 24 more. And I think what we ended up with, Wayne, about 73 Rangers registered and brought their families. So I'm down in Jody Barrett's parking lot talking to Jason about this book cover. And we knew we was going to have a book signing and some good camaraderie. And Richard Barrett come out in the parking lot. And when Richard Barrett comes out in the parking lot, he has something to tell you, or he wants to listen. Usually he has something he wants to tell you. And usually I don't listen because he I guess I'm allowed to say it tonight, Pastor. He said, M-A-R-I-N-E. Okay. Yeah. And he come out in that parking lot, and he said, what are you doing? I said, we're having a homecoming. We're welcoming the Army's finest. We're welcoming them to Kansas City. And he said, well, how you doing that? And we told him. He said, you have a hospitality room? And I said, yes, we have a hospitality room. He says, how many people will the hospitality room hold? I said, 30. He said, how many people you have coming? I said, 132. His words exactly were, damn Army. From that 53-foot hospitality suite emerged, and Richard Barrett brought it here for us and got it all fixed up. Richard, stand up and come on up here, young man. What a tremendous service that you've made for this reunion. The commander's coin that you get, and I will say it proudly, I am very proud of you being my friend. I'm very proud of your service as a Marine, and here is your Marine coin from the commander. We had another special guest that wanted to be here with us tonight, and you may have read about him in the newspaper just within the last couple weeks. A friend of Pastor and Benita and I, Mr. Jack Lucas, was the youngest Medal of Honor winner in the last century. A Marine won the Medal of Honor on Iwo Jima for jumping on one hand grenade and pulling another one under him at the age of 17. He came through here and just did some wonderful things with us and in our town, I think maybe twice, Pastor. And he was scheduled to be here with us this evening. He wanted to be here, and he especially wanted to do this one, and we didn't get to do it. We lost Jack Lucas, I'm going to say about 2 weeks ago, to cancer. But Richard Barrett, I can tell you what he was going to sign for you, and we've got it here right now. The Iwo Jima landing and a poster to the Marines, and we want you to display it proudly and display it any way you want to.
Especially for Reuben, and I think it's only appropriate that we make him part of the Corps.
Oh my gosh. Go to confession. Great people. Oh my goodness. You got me, Richard. Thank you so much. And thank for being such a great friend. Roy and Marie Ford, please stand. We're going to speak to Roy and Marie Ford. You met them last year at Fort Benning, Georgia, and 2 years before that, Fort Benning, Georgia. And last year, when all of us were getting together down at Fort Benning and said what we were going to do here at Kansas City, Missouri, we haven't been able to hold these two down since. They drove from Columbus, Georgia the other day down to Bay Shores, Alabama, then back up to here. They wanted to be host and hostess and helping here with us. They get a big hand. I won't try to bring everybody up here, but Roy, and thank you for your beautiful rendition of Amazing Grace tonight under Dulcimer. We got your coin right here, okay? Thank you, Roy. Jennifer, are you here still? Jennifer Going. Jennifer Going is with our Platte County Visitors Bureau, and she got so much involved with this. Jennifer, we've got a coin for you. Jennifer said we can help. What you're doing is honorable. What we need to do is be a part of that in the county. Jennifer wrote the grant, and from that grant awarded us a $5,200 grant to help this. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Well done. Thank you. That's what I get for trying to be point man. Oh, somebody. Again, all through the city, folks, I say what you'll hear the rest of the night is thank you, thank you, thank you. And none even more than my dear friend Arnie Swift. Arnie Swift heard that you were coming, and he knows that right here in our own group, we have PTSD, we've got divorces, we've got missing limbs. It hasn't been easy the last 40 years, and you've held together and you've done it right. Arnie says, I want to honor those people. And I said, you can honor us, Arnie, because of the book that you helped distribute many years ago called Viet Vet. And that Viet Vet book talks about PTSD and how to overcome some of the things that we're still, many of us are trying to overcome. There you are, out of publication. They don't exist. He said, how many guests do you have coming? I said, I need books for 80 Rangers. Arnie was on the march across the United States just a few weeks ago on his motorcycle, going to the wall, and he kept you in mind, he kept me in mind. I can tell you all kind of war stories, but he stopped in a little town in Texas and talked to what we were doing in Kansas City this week, and Arnie found a friend in Texas that had a case of books in the basement. There just happened to be 80 in that case. Arnie, where are you? Stand, would you please? We got the coin for you, Arnie, and we so much appreciate what you're doing. Arnie did not stop there. I don't know how you want to do it, but maybe to come by and see you individually. I don't know what we'll do, but Arnie and his brigade of motorcyclists, and he acting as the chaplain, they've been going around and ministering to veterans like you and I, and helping to heal the wounds and do things. And they put together a bead key bob, and the colors on that key bob are the Vietnam Service Medal, and he has some, I think, for Purple Heart, for Purple Heart people. I don't know if you want to hold them up or what you want to do, but you be sure to go by Arnie's table tonight. He wants to give you a very special recognition, and we so much appreciate Arnie. What we'd like to do right now, if you would, Richard, we're going to talk about Dr. Sam Bierstock. Wow, we're back on schedule again, folks. Dr. Sam, don't you laugh at me, Rogers. You're here till 1300 tomorrow afternoon. Okay. Dr. Sam Bierstock, several years ago, come out of his hospital down in Florida as a surgeon, and when he got to the parking lot, the gate attendant at the parking lot said, look at me. I fought in World War II. I was in Europe. I got all shot up, and look how I ended up. I ended up as a parking lot attendant. Dr. Sam Bierstock thought that was pretty sorry to see that kind of a sight. Dr. Sam Bierstock has a band and playing some gigs. He went back to talk to his band and put together a song and a DVD, and it's called Before You Go. He went back to that parking lot about 5 to 6 weeks later and handed that parking lot attendant and said, hey, before you go, we want to say thank you. There's some things that we need to be saying to you. Several years ago, Pastor Harrop and I contacted Dr. Sam Bierstock, and every year since then, we have been making sure that our World War II veterans get honored properly, and we put a Before You Go DVD in their hand. 6 weeks ago, I talked to Dr. Sam. I said, Dr. Sam, when are we going to have one for the Vietnam veterans? He says, oh, Reuben, I'm glad that you called. You received it in your packet tonight. My boss, Mr. Jack Fields, the CEO of First Community Bank, said, what can I do? I talked to Dr. Sam. We made sure that we got a DVD called Before You Go. Richard, would you show that right now, please?
quietly you've all turned gray. You did your job, you saved our way. Our lives of freedom you preserved. We've thanked you less than you deserved. You never boasted, bragged, or asked for adulation for your past. You sacrificed your youth to war. We owe you more, we owe you more. Thank you for your wondrous feats, for hope and speech and quiet streets, for worship as we choose to pray, for preservation of our way. You leave us blessed with every breath that cost you arms and legs and death. You did the job you knew was right, and silently you cry at night for bodies maimed and comrades lost, for sights beyond our furthest thoughts, for what you've lived and felt and seen, for what the cost of freedom, freedom means. Before you go, we need to show that in your silence we still know what you accomplished and what you did, for who we are and how we live. So go with love from wives and sons and daughters for a job well done, from kids who've never seen a tank. We give you thanks, we give you thanks. Thank you for your wondrous feats, for hope and speech and quiet streets, for worship as we choose to pray, for preservation of our way, for homes and jobs and baseball games, for many colors, many names. You saved our lives and we're still free, from shining sea to shining sea. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go in peace.
Thank you for that, Richard. Tomorrow you'll get a long introduction and maybe even a shorter introduction to the person that's been behind this the whole way for the last 2 years. Rarely can we ever come out on a Saturday night because he has a large congregation to take care of. But Pastor Lowell Harrop is here and wants to greet us. And thank you so much for being here, Pastor.
It's an absolute honor to be here this evening. I've never served in uniform. I was a pastor in Virginia, in Alexander, Virginia, during Vietnam, and spent many hours in Walter Reed Hospital visiting guys that had served there. And so I didn't see it happen, but I saw the results of it. And I can recall many times I would go and sit in the parking lot outside of the hospital after I had just tried to talk to someone that I could describe in terrible detail, and you guys would recognize the types of wounds that they had. For the last 19 years that I've been pastoring Northland Cathedral, Reuben and I have tried to honor veterans, but this is the high point. And we have annually had a day that we took time to honor men and women who were in uniform, who served in uniform, past or present. But we have not had anything like this. This is absolutely overwhelming to me. I'm honored. I appreciate you all more than you can possibly understand. I hope that you'll be able to be in church tomorrow. You'll hear some of the best music, I will guarantee you, that you'll ever hear in church. You'll hear a full orchestra and choir that is absolutely top-notch. And the service is filled with a lot of energy. But what you all have given to us, we treasure. I think you realize how askew the country went for a time. It wasn't that people were against the war, but they turned and began to be against the warriors, as though you were responsible for starting the war. And it was a very sad time in this nation. We need to pray that the nation doesn't turn that way again, and make sure that we continue to honor those that have served. I'm going to close in prayer. I listened to this song, and that really echoes my heart. I want to express again, though, to Reuben how much I appreciate the work he has done. And it's not just this. This is the surface. But he works tirelessly, constantly, to do exactly this type of thing, to show appreciation to people that have done noble things. And you all have done a noble thing. And so one more time, please show appreciation to Reuben and Benita, who has to put up with him. Please. And remain standing for the benediction. Reuben, are you finished? That's a yes or no.
Before you close, you're having a benediction. Hey, before you close, and we're going to continue. We have other business. We have other business. You're having a benediction. And we're
I
going
don't.
to continue.
If you're going to gamble, I'm out of here, Reuben. I found out that Reuben was a closet Marine all this time, and I'm just shaken to the core, man. I don't know about this stuff. Oh.
Before you close, if I could, there's a group that's not here tonight that we haven't talked about, and I'd like us to toast and remember in our benediction and prayer our brothers, the Montagnards, that
I can do that. I can do that.
If we could toast our brothers and those that I remember, Blune, ABA Bond, APEC and Bond, Becker, Jack. And when we toast, you'd say the names of those you remember, and then remember them.
I will do that.
Hey, here's to the yards, man.
The yards. Blune, APEC Bond,
Chewy. APEC. Mr. Bill.
Lord, these men and women have gathered tonight. We are so grateful that they can be here. I have heard the names of a long list of men who made the greatest sacrifice. I won't forget that moment, Lord. And we don't forget our Montagnard tribesmen that stood side by side, formed friendships, formed lasting relationships, and many of them suffered. Keep your hand on them, on these guys as they travel with their families. May your blessings be rich. In Jesus' name, amen. Please be seated, and it gets started now.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor. Sit tight, folks. We got our raffle drawing and other folks to recognize here, but wanted to get the pastor out of here in time to get. If you would recognize that there's 4 of the 5 national officers here, but we want to do a drawing. Let's do the drawing. Okay, do you have your red tickets? Pastor will be outside the door in a little bit, then we start our gambling and stuff. Do you have your red tickets? Okay. What you bought your ticket for was for print number 970 of God's Own Lunatics. God's Own Lunatics over there. And number 970 is up here, and Joe Klein was so gracious to us, and through John Chester. Thank you, John. Where are you? We're going to talk about you in just a moment. Make sure that we got print number 970, and it has Company K 75th Rangers on it, and it has the blackjack nose on the nose art on our Huey helicopter. And it is sitting right up here. We left it unframed to make it easy for somebody in California to take it home, whoever wins it. And I won't. Objective, subjective person. The person has done so much for us and make sure we got here. Jennifer Going over there to Platte County Visitors Bureau. Thank you so much.
He turned it off. The number is, got your tickets? 7958474. We got a winner. Festus. Hey, Festus. I want to introduce to you, if you don't know him, Mr. John Festus Gibson. You went to Vietnam, didn't you? And if you don't know it, there stands one of the finest slurps I know. Oh, yeah. I want to take this opportunity to, we have four of the national officers for the Ranger Regiment Association here with us tonight. Would you guys stand up? Come on, stand up. We have Bill Bullen, our president, Bill Postelnick, vice president, John Chester, our secretary. Where's the other one? Oh, Ruben, the treasurer. Okay, Bill Bullen, you want to come up? You want to say something or?
Appreciate that. You know, this, a lot of us have been coming to these for a lot of years. There's a lot of credit to be given, and we look around and you don't know who you're looking at from time to time. Where's Willie Williams? Willie, will you stand up? Willie is unit director of K Company when there were like 13 or 2 guys. Four men. Willie brought me into the fold. And after Willie, we had a reunion, and Tom Sove, you want to stand up, Tom? Tom took over the unit director's job. Tom Sove. Tom took it from a level Willie had 4 guys. Sit down and relax, Roger. And to a point where it's just amazing what Tom did with this association, with this group of guys. The things he did, searching people out, telling everybody to show their orders, bring your orders out. We all had orders with Social Security numbers and RA numbers and US numbers. You remember that. Now they're all blacked out. You get your orders from the archives now, they're all blacked out. Well, I had orders. Dana McGrath was on there. Don Keller was on there, and Dana found Don, and it just the whole wheel started to turn, and things started to happen. You have guys like John Chester, who came from the 25th Infantry Division, 3rd Brigade. John, you want to stand up again, please? John Chester is the Secretary of the Association and the 1st Detachment Commander of the 3rd Brigade LURPS, came from the 25th Division. The 4th Division then sent their 3rd Brigade over to the 25th. I don't know what, the Army's infinite wisdom, like an oxymoron, Army intelligence. You know, it just worked that way. But I'm so glad that John came into the fold. We need to know why this happened. There were a couple of LURPS, 101st that got together. Willie happened to have been in K Company and the 101st when K Company broke down, and Willie was with these guys. Bob Gilbert and Billy Nix got these group of LURPS together and say, hey, why don't we have a reunion? And for some reason, Willie was brought into this, and Willie was a real big player in this whole thing, what you see right here. Bob Gilbert, and then there was Roy Boatman. A lot of you guys know of Roy Boatman. Was a great secretary, a great manipulator of people, but it made disassociation grow. We had Ronnie Edwards picked up the ball from Roy Boatman as secretary, and you got to know that the secretary is the one that really makes this machine drive, the whole 75th Ranger Regiment Association. From Ronnie came John Chester. John Chester is now the association secretary, and his wife is ready to leave him because he's been doing this for so long. And it just, thank goodness that she has Yogi, or she'd have nothing. Because, you know, Yogi is her life because John is not in it right now. And this is all going to change because things are starting to happen where we're going to take that job, break it down into some other, there's some things happening here behind the scenes. We do not want it to be a last man standing organization the way it is with the, if you've been to reunions, you come to a World War II reunion and you see 7 guys. Oh, let's cheer for Merrill's Marauders and Darby's Rangers, and there's 7 of them left. That's all there is. We don't want that for us. We want modern day Rangers. We want new blood in here. This is what John's been talking about for years. Emmett Hillenbrand before John, and Bill Postelnick is so active in ArmyRanger.com. And this is a group of guys who are computer savvy and millionaires, and they're retired now, and they've been in the Army for 30 years. They're retired command sergeants majors, and you know, guys, how much money a command sergeant major makes when he retires. It's a whole lot of money, right, Don? I'm going to cut this short. What we need to say here is that we're going to bring modern day. Pardon me. We need to bring modern day Rangers into this fold, and that's what the gist, and that's what the future of what we're doing. That's what my administration is going to make happen. Dana McGrath, where's Dana? Will you stand up, please, Dana? Stand on your chair, Dana. Dana McGrath was our president, and very, very, he was our company clerk. He told Don Keller that he would be a better Ranger than he was a company clerk, and Don Keller sent Dana out, and Dana was a killing son of a real killer. And I don't think Don was ever disappointed with the way he performed. Maybe before he was a Ranger, but you know. I just want to close with you mentioned the yards. The yards were the mountain yards were our allies. They loathed the communists, and since we've left, they've been ethnically cleansed. It's something that the United Nations never jumped in on and helped, and it just breaks my heart. I know that David Bristol has been very active in. Dave, you want to stand up? Dave Bristol's been very active with this organization, and. You know, these people have come over to the country. You have something to say, Dave? If you do, come on up.
If you're interested in helping, there's an organization called Friends of the Central Highlands. Google it. It's Friends of the Central Highlands of Vietnam. Google it, and all the information is there. They do wonderful work supporting schools, orphanages, scholarships for medical students, all kinds of wonderful stuff. It's a great way to give back to those people who are struggling in their own country right now.
Thank you very much. These are people, you got to understand, these are people that were different from the Asians, and I don't mean to belittle the Asians, but you think about the history of the world, and some went down this way, and some crossed the Bering Strait and came down, and they had. The mountain yards had round eyes, if you can imagine this. And, you know, we have, where's Mike Claymore? Mike Claymore, you want to stand up, please? Mike Claymore, there's Mike Claymore, Sioux Indian, E6 Airborne Ranger, Staff Sergeant, Mike and the Mountain Yards have a lot in common because you know he could have been a yard in Vietnam, but his ancestors chose to come down this way. You got to understand where we are with this. I'm going to stop now, and I just want you people to know that this is a great organization. It's bigger than K Company, and this is why this is happening right now, because of the 75th Ranger Regiment Association. Thanks, Roger, for what you do. I really appreciate it. You've done a fine job. Thank you, Reuben.
Thanks, Bill. Reuben, where'd you go? Where'd you go, Reuben? You got anything else, Reuben? I think, you know, please be sure and, yes. In closing, I'll remind you about the church service tomorrow. I think it's going to be great. You're certainly invited to be there, and we want to see everybody there. We want the Rangers to wear this black shirt. Please show up in the black shirt. Everybody else dress casual. Let's see, what do we got here? I think.
Okay. I don't want to take anything more or add to this program. I just appreciate it. But for your service tomorrow morning, if we end up with one bus, we may be doing 2 shuttles. But the Huey helicopter will be over there, and I don't know how we're going to do this, but I'd sure like to get us a group photo. I don't know if it can be done or not. Is Katie here tonight? I'm not real sure. But love us to get a group photo in those black shirts. Maybe we should do it here under that big old banner out there in the lobby. I think that if I see some heads going, yes, I think that would be a great shot. About what time, Tom? Tom Sovey, you're part of the planning committee, and you've had no recognition at all tonight.
20 minutes.
Yeah, in 20 minutes, okay. Tonight, okay. Cut it short. Okay, good. So if you get over there and need photo ops around the church and around the helicopter again tomorrow, please don't worry about it. I'd like to have you seated, if you could, by at least 9:45. You have a reserve section. We've got 130 seats reserved. That's what I'm trying to say. You won't have to fight your way in. We've got a spot for you, and we're thrilled to have you. Thank you.
Okay, and before I close, I do want to recognize Wayne Mitch, Tom Sove. They're part of our planning committee and helped put this thing together. Give them a good hand. And do what? No, they didn't stand. So thanks for coming. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And see you tomorrow morning.
you want to explain what this is, and then explain about this table, and that way people that maybe don't know as much in detail, like me, otherwise, can really understand it.
Does my hair look all pretty, guys? Does it look bald back here and everything?